London, Donald Trump must show how he will progress peace talks in the Middle East after he deprived negotiators of the key bargaining chip in finalizing the status of Jerusalem, British Foreign Secretary Boris Johnson said. Johnson made the comments after delivering a 4,700-word speech on the fight against terrorism, in which he called on the Arab world to look past its tribal instincts and become more nationalistic, to promote enduring institutions that would help the Muslim world overcome the addictive lure of jihadism infecting Islam. US President Donald Trump has recognized Jerusalem as Israel's capital despite intense Arab, Muslim and European opposition to a move that would upend decades of US policy and risk potentially violent protests. US Senator Kirsten Gillibrand of New York joined other Democrats on Wednesday calling for fellow party member Al Franken, the senator from Minnesota, to resign after new allegations of sexual misconduct against him. A US federal investigator probing alleged Russian interference in the 2016 US presidential election asked Deutsche Bank for data on accounts held by President Donald Trump and his family, but Trump's lawyer denied any such subpoena had been issued. Spain's Supreme Court has withdrawn an international arrest warrant for Catalonia's former leader, but he may still be detained if he attempts to return from self-imposed exile. President Vladimir Putin confirmed he would run for re-election in March 2018, a contest he would be expected to win comfortably, extending his grip on power into a third decade. Populist firebrand Steve Bannon savaged national Republican leaders in a fiery call to rally voters behind embattled Senate candidate Roy Moore as the battle for the GOP's soul played out in rural Alabama. 3 fires are burning out of control around Los Angeles, prompting officials to declare a state of emergency. US President Donald Trump has recognized Jerusalem as Israel's capital despite intense Arab, Muslim and European opposition to a move that would upend decades of US policy and risk potentially violent protests. A copy of his speech provided to the media in advance had a section in bold condemning the president's decision to move the US embassy to Jerusalem before the resolution of decades-long dispute. Asked by Fairfax Media about the omission of the comments in his speech and whether Britain believes the US move could exacerbate conflict in the region, the Foreign Secretary blamed its last-minute inclusion, and reiterated Prime Minister Theresa May's condemnation of Trump's move, saying it was not helpful. America and all her allies have, for a long time, thought that was a card that should not be played until we could use it as an incentive to get the peace process moving, Mr. Johnson told journalists and diplomats at the Foreign and Commonwealth Office in Whitehall. But he said the Trump administration's move could also provide opportunities to break the stalemate. I think, this decision having been announced by President Trump, the world would like to see some serious announcements by the US about how they see the Middle East peace process and how to bring the two sides together. Get the latest news and updates emailed straight to your inbox.